What's up, Rockstars? Today I have a very exciting unboxing. At least for me, I'm super excited. You see, I really enjoy, especially in this like colder weather, like just being warm. So I got my End of the AM hoodie, link down description below. Of course, they got great fall stuff. But I'm wearing this. I'm comfy today. I like big fantasy books, like really big ones, right? For this in particular, I am doing audiobooks. So I love listening to audiobooks while I drive. And I've finally gotten to Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. That is related because in here is the like companion books, I believe, or what I don't remember what they call it. Essentially, they made it like a tabletop D&D like experience for the entire Cosmere, not just the Stormlight Archives. So that's probably loud. And so, like, that's really cool. I don't really play those, though. However, I am interested. I started with Elantris. I've done, like, quite a few other ones, including the at least first 3 Mistborn. And then, also, as you saw, the Stormlight Archive. And then, I always mix up the name of this one, the one where the Talking Sword came from. I've done that one as well. So really excited to actually see this more in writing. I've done it in pretty much every format. So like I said, I had my audiobooks, right? For like Mistborn and stuff like that, and our Arcanum Unbound. I use it on my Kindle Paperwhite. I have some really fancy books that I read that are unrelated. But just to let you know, I love fantasy. But that being said, I have missed all of like Shallan's drawings and stuff. So like they'll describe in the audiobook, it'll describe what you're looking at, right? And yet you won't actually be able to see anything, right? So this is going to be really cool for me because I can actually learn more about it and actually see it in writing and see pictures, and I'm really excited for that. So we have the Welcome to Roshar, which again, this is like my first time seeing the Shattered Plains, which I'm assuming is what I'm looking at there, right? And then of course these as well, and like who these are, right? I'm assuming like that's Dalinar, for instance, but maybe not, like because that would be the assassin in white, right? So this is the first time seeing the sword. All this stuff is new to me, so it's going to be a really cool experience for me to be able to experience this kind of for the first time, if that makes sense. I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. This is already looking great. Looks like it was packaged very well. This box was nice, and when you get it in a bag, right, you always kind of have to worry. You're like, oh no, a bag, right? But then it was in a box as well, so this came out perfect. I don't see any kind of like dinged edges or anything like that, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and look at this because it's already open for the Welcome to Roshar. So yeah, again, this is my first time really seeing anything like this. And I know a lot of this art is new for everybody too, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this is, I really want to see more about the world. I love RPG books because of that, because you get to dive into this and really dive into the things. So yeah, High Storms and the spheres, right? I would never guess that they were that colorful. But they kind of make sense with the gems, right? So that's kind of cool. Even seeing the planet, oh, that's so neat. Very cool. I love the like Warhammer power armor that they have, right? Like that's awesome, of course. Where I am in the story, they're just starting to get that through their own by swearing the 4th ideal, which is super cool. Stone and Creme, Rock Buds. Oh, see, this is so cool. Yeah, I really do enjoy seeing this. It almost would have been kind of nice to see some of this, even if I was worried about I was really worried about spoilers, and maybe I'll still get some, right? I don't know, right? Because I haven't read the full. I mean, obviously, as you saw, I just started Wind and Truth, but I'll see. Here's Azir, and so yeah, I haven't seen any of the maps in the books or anything like that. I love the audiobooks. They're narrated extremely well. They've accompanied me on many trips as I drive, even just into work and back, but also on longer trips. So like I've really liked it. However, I have missed this sort of thing, right? So that's kind of the difference there. Oh yeah, here's like the Azish and the Alethi and stuff, the Herdazians. Very cool to see this. Like seriously, it's really really awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to dig into this. It looks like they've done a really good job having pictures of stuff that are like named and whatnot, but then also like little like blurbs and call out boxes and sections that kind of make sense, right? So here's like the heralds, right? Very, very cool. Yeah, no, this is like really, really nice. Even this little booklet is actually like, I don't know how much you'd have to pay to just like buy something like this, like normal, like not on crowdfunding, but I imagine quite a bit, right? Just to be able to like dive into everything like this. Very cool. The listeners, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Very, and then beginning your journey. Oh, that's fun. And again, I actually kind of like this as well. I was tempted to get, and I might still get the actual RPG books themselves just because I really like when game mechanics match a theme or a setting, right? Like, how do they handle all of this kind of stuff, right? And especially across the whole Cosmere, and that's what's really cool, right? Because obviously they're a little bit different when it comes to their powers and how they manifest and how the magic system kind of works, right? And all of that's kind of unique. So I'm trying to be very careful here. Trying to is the key word. Probably failing. Let me try and slide this along. Something a little more blunt. There we go. Maybe that's enough to grasp. They didn't give a lot of extra wrap on the corner. You know, sometimes you get that like really big kind of almost knot of plastic. This one, not so much. Hopefully, I gripped it enough now. All right. Okay. I think we got it. This is thick, guys. Like, look how, like, there's a lot here, which is super cool. I'm like really pumped. Really, really am. Again, my bookshelf, does not really have any Stormlight anything, right? And so this is so new for me. I'll be happy to put this on the bookshelf. I actually love books like this. I'll get them for video games. I'll get them for movies. I think they make cool like coffee table books is what I call them, even though like that's not like a huge thing anymore. Where it'd be cool to like, you know, I want somebody who visits to be, oh, look at this neat thing and just be able to kind of leaf around in it, right? So it looks like here the MSRP is $60, so that's kind of interesting. So this is very much the same version you could buy elsewhere. I don't think it's really like a Kickstarter edition alone, mainly because otherwise they would have no need for a USB and MSRP and whatnot, right? So let's crack it open. Looks like there's maybe a little bit of a line right here. Don't know exactly what that's from. The and shiny part here, I think they call it like a UV. Very cool. I like the little bit of coming out of the circle as well. That's also very neat. And then already very, very cool. Love that. Oh, okay. I know this whole section then where they have the giant guy there. That was the end of the third book, I want to say. So that's cool. All right, so it looks like at least 270 pages here, which is, again, just really, really cool. And they have all the different credentials and stuff like that. Of course, executive producers Brandon Sanderson on both of these, which, again, makes a lot of sense, of course, as well. So let's see, they have the world, nations and cultures, cosmology and religion, history of Roshar, allies and organizations, points of interest. I believe they're following up. I think the next one's going to be very Mistborn heavy, I believe. Shadesmar. See, I've never even seen it spelled like that, so I had no idea how it was spelled. Adversaries and bestiary. Oh, they have all of these different. Oh, that's awesome. Pronunciation guide. I might need. You know, one of the nice things about the audiobooks, I guess, is I have heard them said quite a few times. So that's always kind of fun. Wow. Events in the novels, huh? The first 5 Stormlight archives, including spoilers for those books. So that's why I have to be a little bit careful, right? Because I have not finished the 5th book. So, and see, Investiture, the first time I read that was with Vasher, right? When he's kind of explaining how that magic system with the breaths work, right? And now I've seen that in the Stormlight archives, which is really cool. But I don't think that was even mentioned before this final book. Maybe the last bit of the 4th book. Maybe Wit is saying a little bit about that. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's Kaladin or not, but either way, very, very cool. Probably with the blue uniform. Super cool. So lots of art. They actually went really heavy on the art. It's like just about it's like the first page that doesn't have art, right? Which is kind of impressive. I believe we saw this same image in the other one. So a tiny bit of reuse, probably where it makes sense. Okay, see, I've never seen pictures of the Spren before. And in fact, I knew this just from like some other like online content that Spren was with an E, but I didn't know. Was it an I, is an E, you know? Who knows? So very cool to kind of see that. I wonder if they have the like Spren that are like the wrong color and stuff like that. Very cool. And then the different surges. That's awesome. Very, very cool. So Shinovar, their nations and cultures. Wow, awesome. You know, not everybody, this is where Brandon Sanderson did really well, can make a world that is this filled out, right? That it really is. See, I'd never seen Sadius before, so that's the first time I've seen that. But, oh, that's so fun. You know, again, I know this may be kind of unique for me because not everybody, you know, does that where they've only had the audiobooks and then see it in print. But I thought that would actually be kind of cool. Yeah, this is interesting to see that you can, like, do you fight Anger Spren? Like, that's interesting to fight the Spren like that. That's really, really cool. I never even thought about that. See, I only just now kind of saw the Rashadium, I think music Spren is kind of what they, are there. This is something I just learned in the 5th book. So I can see a little bit of like, oh, yeah, this might be kind of like a spoiler in that sense. I'm actually going to love this one. One of the things I like to do with the RPG stuff is like really compare the stats, right? Because sometimes that kind of like quote unquote power scaling is lost in the books. Not necessarily these books, I just mean like books in general, right? Because it's not spelled out for that, right? But then when you have to build it into mechanics, you really have to kind of say, okay, yeah, this thing is stronger than that thing, or this thing is faster than that thing. And so that could be kind of cool. Lasting integrity. Oh man, see, that would have been really cool to see a picture of lasting integrity. I wonder if they have that or not. That'd be trippy. In fact, I'm sure they have like some Shade Smart stuff that I've just not seen. But yeah, very, very cool. And see, I don't know, is this like art from like Shalon or something? I don't know, because it's kind of like handwritten, right? I don't know if, was that Wit? Hoyd. Yes, okay, yeah, is known as Wit, yes. So again, kind of explicitly saying it, of course, starting with Elantris, I saw Hoyd just at the very end, and I was like, what's going on? Fun little story here. I had no idea about Brandon Sanderson at all. Elantris just sounded like a really cool mystery because I've never read anything where the magic was dead, right? So to me, that seemed really interesting. So I'm reading this not knowing what I'm getting into, and I'm enjoying the story and the mystery around it and all of that. And then Act 3 hits. And if you've read Brandon Sanderson, you know how Act 3 can hit. And I was extremely surprised. Like, I was like, what is going on? And then at the very end, right, then you have the little Hoyd bit there, and I'm like, what even... Is there a bigger thing here? I didn't know about the Cosmere. I didn't know about any of that. So I was kind of sucked into it blindly, which is kind of cool. Well, I love these. These are actually some of my favorite ones, just with the little, you know, hey, here's something, and then a little bit about it. Yeah, honestly, this looks really, really cool. It looks like a very fun read. I can't wait to dive into it. I might wait until I'm done with the 5th book. I'm not exactly sure because, again, I don't want to spoil really anything too much. Though I doubt it's a spoiling any ending, but maybe, who knows. But yeah, this is amazing. I can't wait for the other one so I can get more of these because yeah, this was money well spent. This is a very nice book, very, very cool. So, that's what I have here. I know there's probably other people that have all the D&D kind of tabletop RPG stuff. But for me, this was definitely what I wanted as just a fan of the world and the stories. And I think this is going to color a lot of what I thought I knew or imagined in my head versus what it actually looks like. And that's going to be super cool. So anyway, yeah, obviously, if there is a link to this, right, that makes sense, I'll link to that in the description below. So if you weren't aware that this was out here or that it is available outside of crowdfunding, I'll try and search for that and link that to you. Of course, there is Into the AM. Right now I'm just wearing one of their hoodies and their sweatpants because I want to be warm and comfortable, but that will be linked down in the description below as well. And if you do use that link, by the way, you can save 10% on top of any sale they have, which has got a good fall sale going on right now. So either way, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.